What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Thursday Night Football Sal's House watch party. We got Thursday Night Football tonight. We got Major League Baseball playoffs going on tonight. I got Mets and Brewers Game 3. Yes, Game 3 is like the ending of the series, basically, right? It's a 3-game series. We got Falcons, Buccaneers at Falcons tonight. We're going to get into all of that. It's going to be awesome. Thanks a lot for joining me. Last week, right here at the watch party, 2,700 viewers. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Really, really cool that you're coming here and enjoying this with me. I hope you're enjoying it. I mean, that's why we're here, right? Don't forget to comment in the comments section. We already got Dean, we got Steven, we got Sean. Thank you so much for coming aboard. Really appreciate it. I got my man Colin backstage. He's producing tonight, so thank you very much, Colin, for all of your help. All right, the Thursday Night Football watch party, which is going to turn into a Wednesday watch party next week. Let's tell you about that in a second. Got something very, very, very cool for everybody next week. We're all going to be together doing this. What's up, Dried Ocean? That's a pretty cool name. Hey, listen, if you want to comment, here's what you got to know, all right? If you want to comment, you have to watch via YouTube or Facebook. You can do anything at Sal Sports either way. Comment on, if you want to watch, you can watch on Twitter, on X, that's fine. You can't comment on Twitter. It doesn't show up in the comments section, I should say, all right? Andy, what's going on, my man? Chosen, Michael, Changes, everybody's in. Everybody's coming aboard tonight. If you want to comment, you got to watch through Facebook or YouTube. Then you can comment right there. It'll show up live. All right. Be good in the comments. Be good to each other. All right. We don't want any nonsense going on in there. If you want to watch, you can do it any way you want on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, of course. And everything is at Sal Sports. The other thing about that is I'm like 600 people away from 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. 600 away from 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Let's get there. All right. Tonight, let's do it. Maybe we can get 600 tonight. That'd be amazing. So go to the YouTube channel. You got Sal's House. You got the watch parties going on. You got Always Game Day in Buffalo with me and Matt Beauvais. You got lots of other content. So make sure you check it out on the YouTube page at YouTube, Sal Sports on YouTube. All right. Want to thank our sponsors as always. You see them right there on the bottom of your screen. You see the logos up top. Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. They have the best wings in town, the best pizza in town. They have a great spot to watch all of the games. You got great college football coming up this week. You got the Sabres. I'm going to talk about them tonight, starting tomorrow and then on Saturday. And, of course, you have the Buffalo Bills and all of the NFL games going on Sunday. They have a great patio to go outside, cornhole. You can play everything. Incredible, like, just atmosphere to watch everything. And, of course, great beer, different kinds of beer. Now, you know, I'm not much of a beer drinker, but they got my seltzers. They got my wine. So we'll do that too. Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. They're amazing. Go check them out. And, of course, Buffalo Logo. My guy, Eric, and his team at Buffalo Logo and buffalogo.com, screen printing, embroidery, and a lot more. Check them out. They get some great new polos and shirts. They're always unveiling. You can see them around town now. They're getting bigger. You're seeing their shirts everywhere. So check them out as well, buffalogo.com. All right, we got so many people coming in tonight. Got the roll call going on. We got the comments going on. We have Mets, Brewers right now. It's 0-0. It's nothing. What do we say for nothing? No score. No score for Mets Brewers. What inning are we in right here? Let's check it out. End of the fourth. Just end of the fourth. And we are about to watch the Thursday night football game between the Buccaneers and the Falcons. So to help me do all of it tonight, we got a couple of special guests. We're going to talk Sabres later with play-by-play man Dan Dunleavy. And by the way, my apologies. Yesterday, I promoted that Ray Davis would be on the program. Unfortunately, Ray got in touch with me today, and he had another commitment. He said he definitely wants to do it. Ray's a great guy, so he'll be along on another Sal's House watch party. We got Buccaneers and Falcons, Dan Dunleavy a little bit later, but right now, my man from WGR Sports Radio 550, here is Chris Bulldog Parker joining the show. What's going on, my man Bulldog? How are you?
Sal's House, what is up?
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, tell me about the setup. What do you got going on tonight? How you watching everything?
I got the Amazon Prime on the big TV down here, and that's it. Yeah, I had the ball game on, but I switched over to football because I care about it way more.
How do you balance when you have two things on? What if it's Sabres and the football game? How do you balance that?
I would watch the Sabres over anything but the Bills, I think, at this point. So if I can split screen it, I'd split screen it and do that. Mm-hmm. But like tonight, you can't do that because Prime is its own entity, so you can't but if it were on my regular streaming, say like ESPN had a Monday night game and the Sabres were on, I could split screen that and roll back and forth between them and whatever. So sorry about the hands. I didn't realize how bad that was going to look I'll stop doing that.
No, it's okay, man. I mean, we're learning a lot of things on the watch party here. These are really cool. It's so cool to get everybody in together and enjoy this together. Now it's kind of like, it's kind of like the Manning cast, but the only difference is I can't show the game on the screen, so we have to kind of watch what's going on. What are you seeing on your TV right now? Is Kirk Cousins being interviewed?
Yes.
Okay. I'm always thinking about if someone's way behind me or way ahead of me, because you never know with the streaming these days.
It's just high five. Yeah, I think.
Okay. Yeah. See, we're all good now. I think we're in the same time period.
I'm a little shook here to start.
Okay.
Because, I turned this on right as we were starting, and the first thing I saw was the Falcons in those fantastic uniforms, and I hate Atlanta. I hate the Falcons. I'm not a big Falcons guy. But those uniforms are money.
Okay, Bulldog, you read my notes. Look at right here in my notes, as Mike Show would do. Right here in my notes, I have, do you hate the Atlanta Falcons, and why do you hate the Atlanta Falcons? I have that in my notes.
Yes. Well, I do hate the Atlanta Falcons. Let me see if I can remember exactly why. It's not. It's not.
Does it go back to the Steve Bartkowski days?
No. Okay. Actually, it's funny. I was thinking as we were starting if this was going to come up. I actually liked Steve Bartkowski when I was a kid. So, and they wore these uniforms too, I think, then. It's just, man, like Atlanta as a sports city, like my take on the Falcons is even their fans aren't really fans of them. They just put the gear on and go. And it's like nobody's from Atlanta. Nobody was born there. Everybody moves there. They fly there. They stay there. Like there's no soul. In Atlanta, at least in sports fans. I mean, there's lots of really good things in Atlanta, but as far as sports go, man, that market eats it. I cannot stand the whole. It's just so transient.
Right, I totally get it. I lived near Tampa, and it's the same way. By the way, the Falcons will start off with the ball 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. Bijan Robinson, are you a Bijan Robinson fan? What did you think about him coming out? Did you think that he would hit? And what do you think about his play?
I mean, he's clearly a stud, but I wouldn't have drafted him in the where they drafted him. I wouldn't ever draft a running back there really ever. Says the guy that just watched Derrick Henry go for 200 yards against the Bills last Sunday night. So yeah, I mean, he's super talented and fun to watch, and I expect he'll be really good. And then want to get paid and probably won't, and then that'll just be the standard running back deal. But he's a fantastic player.
And then, of course, Kyle Pitts, he just caught a big pass. So we'll monitor this game for you. And while
pass. Kyle Pitts is he. You know what? I'll tell you. We here at Tons of Gas Mask HQ. That's a fantasy team with my son. We benched Kyle Pitts this week to motivate.
Oh, really?
So if you kept him in your lineup, you have us to thank because I'm sure he heard about it.
Well, he just had a big catch a little while ago. How are your fantasy teams doing? I got that in my notes too to ask you. How are your fantasy teams doing?
The one I have, it's funny you said teams because I'm about to say I only have one fantasy team, Sal. I'm Bulldog. But I do have a second one. I drafted with Mike and his buddy Adam Krautwurst on one of their fantasy podcasts. And that team, I think, is doing pretty well. Last I heard after last weekend. My team that's in the league with the WGR league with Paul Hamilton and Brian Koziel and Dave Buchanan and that whole crew, we are circling the drain. We're scoring like 90 points a week. Sal, AJ Brown and Hurts, and with Brown out, whatever. We're bad. We're bad.
Bulldog, I have been an employee of WGR for 13 years now, and I have never played in the WGR Fantasy League. I've never been asked.
Oh, well.
I don't know what's going on there.
I'm not the leader.
Talk to Paul Hamilton.
I don't know. I'm not. You have to take it up with Paul. I don't know.
That's okay. Have you ever won the league?
Yeah, we've had really. Yeah, we've been really good most years. I think we've maybe won it once and lost in the championship game twice, two other times.
Right.
So we've had pretty good luck in that league, but this year is just not. It's just not.
Are you in the Paul Hamilton Pick'em League where you pay for the picks?
No.
Okay. So there's about 50 people. I think it's like just shy of 50 people. My 10-year-old son is in first place. I'm in 33rd place. It's literally just pick the game straight up every week.
I love it. I just jumped back in. Our buddy Joe Ostrowski, who's with us every Thursday on our radio show. I entered his survivor pool at the beginning of the year, and like I don't know how many people you've talked to that are in Survivor Leagues or run Survivor Leagues.
Right.
It's been carnage, Sal. Like
yeah.
Like 96% of people were out. So he just got an invite this morning. So I dove back in for like a redo and go Seattle Seahawks is all I have to say this week.
I have been out many times. I bought back in. Paul, you can buy back in. I bought in Sunday night. I bought in Monday night. I keep losing, so I'm definitely out. Hey, we got Colin who's helping us out with any big play. You see it in the comments there. Kirk Cousins 32-yard pass to Kyle Pitts. Right now, we have the Falcons are driving on the Buccaneers. They have a 2nd and 10 at the Buccaneers 18-yard line. So they're in the red zone right now, and Kirk Cousins back to pass. And this is too easy. Look at this. We have a touch. That's Drake London. That's my guy. Is that Drake London? That's my guy, Bulldog. It's my guy. Somebody else, John Coleman said, I got London. Let's go in the comments.
All right.
Touchdown, baby.
I probably have him in some parlay or something.
If you have a comment or a question for my guy, Chris Bulldog Parker, right now is the time to do it. You can comment, but you can only comment if you're on YouTube or Facebook. We had 2,700 viewers last week. We're already at 1,500 live viewers tonight. We got Dan Dunleavy a little bit later. All right. Just want to say and give a shout out to some of the people coming aboard. Doug from Cape Coral, Florida. Thank you so much. Jamie is in the chat. Matt, Brian, all of you. Thank you so much. Jordan Moore. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Matt says, let's talk hockey. We will get to hockey here. Actually, let's do that right now. Tomorrow, Sabres. I mean, it's hard to believe. Sabres open up tomorrow at 1 p.m. What is it? Are you guys on? Are you doing post game? Like, what's the schedule in WGR?
Well, what I learned today is that Brian Koziel is in Prague.
Yes, he is.
I had no idea that was happening. I do work there. I don't know. Not know. Anyway, so he's doing pregame at noon, 1 o'clock face-off, and then I don't know how, it depends on how long the game goes, I guess. But what our boss sent out to us was that we would start probably at 4. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. Like if the game goes 2.5 hours, that's, it might be tight for, I don't know, whatever. We're planning to start around 4, I would say.
All right. Well, it's going to be really interesting watching them on a Friday afternoon. Did you see my Twitter post today about that? The Friday afternoon thing?
I did not.
Okay. So do you remember? I'm sure you do. 1983, the Sabres had to play a Friday afternoon playoff game at the Boston Garden against the Bruins.
I barely remember this.
Okay. So I'm in 4th grade. In 1983, Sabres are playing the Bruins in the first round. The Sabres win game 1. Game 2 had to be played on Friday afternoon because the Celtics had a night game that night at the Garden.
Okay.
So they play it. And I posted a picture on Twitter. Maybe I could pull it up here. And what I wrote was our 4th grade teacher wheeled one of these bad boys into the classroom with the big TV. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we watched it and they got beat 5-3. It was over pretty quickly. I think the Bruins scored a bunch of goals early in the game. And it was awesome. Shout out to Mr. Rogers, by the way, 4th grade teacher. Really appreciate you. So I hope all the teachers in Western New York do the right thing tomorrow and show this game in their classrooms.
Or our kids will just be watching it on their phones. I don't know. If they're allowed to have their phones in class anymore. I don't know. That's been a debate, I guess.
Not in some districts anymore. They're actually out.
Right.
I know. But it is cool. I said to Max tonight, what do you have at 1 p.m. tomorrow? He's like, why? He thought I was coming to pick him up. I'm like, no. I need you to ask your teacher if you're going to be able to watch the Sabres game.
Right. He thought maybe Dad's going to come get me so I can watch the Sabres game. Like, no.
Yes. No, that's not going to happen. All right. So let's talk about the Sabres a little bit here. I mean, where are you on the optimism meter for this drought to be broken?
Ooh. They're going to have to show me something here to start. I mean, I can lay out what needs to happen for it to happen, right? Thompson scores 45 again. Peterka breaks through. I'm very bullish on Peterka, by the way. That might be if you want me to be optimistic. The most optimistic thing I'd say is I think Peterka is going to be their leading scorer. I think he's going to be a monster. So I'm excited about him. But the overall, I mean, I like what they did to the bottom 6. The 4th line, I think, will be a real change for them to have just the amount of speed that they will have on the ice when those types of players are out there, I think should help them. But I don't know, man. It's been so long. I can't get all the way there to like, oh, yeah, they'll be good. Like, I'm convinced they'll be good.
Right.
I'm going to need to see them actually look good first, I think. Which
Are
I
you,
know is lame, but I just can't.
no, I get it. I mean,
My
we've
optimism
seen
meter
the
is
other thing
broken.
for so long.
Yeah, my optimism meter is broken, I would say. I don't know. I hope it works.
What do you think about the goaltending? Are you optimistic about that being
Yeah,
as
no,
least
yeah,
at least on par with the level it was last year? UPL had a good year.
yeah. I really, I'm glad you asked me specifically about him because I don't think there was anything fluky about what he did last year.
Right.
All of, at least the bits that I know that I picked up from my kid and his coaches when he was, making a run at it. UPL looks, since last year, he's just, it's slowed down. He's stronger. He moves better. And when you have like the amount of strength that you need to really be effective, you don't have to overreact as much. You're just going to be more square more often. Like he's just technically, I think, very very sound,
Yeah.
and that is the most important thing you can be in that position in the sport now is to be technically sound. And I think he's really rates very highly in that department.
I love that. But I'm a very big Devin Levi fan. Like I think he's going to be really good in this league. I have no maybe reason to believe that other than the fact of his past and
Yeah.
the limited time we've seen him. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too optimistic there. But at some point, I want to see this kid take over the net, but I don't want to be at the expense of UPL not being good. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that really bears watching. I think what they end up doing, period, with goaltending, I think will be very interesting because we've watched them carry three for a couple of years here, and I don't know with the state of things in the league. I mean, a guy I barely have ever heard of got claimed by the Bruins the other day, a goalie. Like James Reimer is a journeyman, but if the Sabres try to sneak him through waivers, he could get claimed. And I think they really want him as insurance. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I agree. Levi, I think, also looks to be a guy that can really do it. But now, tough for him. Like UPL got good at like maybe the worst possible time for Levi. Like now that Luukkonen broke through, he's got the contract. Like the Sabres are going to want to see that through. And I don't know, like how much net there will be here for Levi. If your number one guy, if Luukkonen plays like he played last year, he's playing 55 games. And I don't know that that's best for Levi to be subjugated to, that few games here. So it's a tough situation, I think, because Luukkonen deserves the number one status, which he earned.
Dickie Foley is watching the Mets game, says LFGM. We know what that stands for the Mets. They are no score, bottom of the fifth right now in the deciding game number 3. Are you rooting for anybody in this game, Bulldog, Mets and Brewers?
It's funny. We were all in here yesterday evening watching, and my wife just volunteered out of nowhere. She almost never says anything about the games we're watching, other than being too nervous to watch the Bills. She said, I kind of like the Mets. And I said, you know what? I kind of like the Mets too. Which I know I'm not supposed to like the Mets, right? I'm a Red Sox guy. But I started watching the Mets. I like the broadcast a lot.
Right.
And so I started watching them more often. And, they kind of grew on me. So, they're sort of second-class citizens baseball-wise in their own market because of the Yankees and dudes like you. So, like, I can get behind the Mets, So I guess I'm rooting for the Mets.
All right. We have Karen, who said she graduated with you from West Seneca West. Karen Moody Syke, M-U-D-I Slike. So there you go. I don't know if you know anybody by that name, but she's in. She said she graduated with you from West Seneca West.
Hi.
All right. I mean, obviously Chris was the valedictorian, and you were watching him on stage give the speech. I'm guessing is what happened when he was graduating from West Seneca West. We have Falcons and Bucks on right now. It's 7-0 Falcons. The Buccaneers have an injury, so we're in a timeout right now. Okay, let's talk a little music, man. You had your guitar near you. Are you always playing? Like when you get around, do you just kind of do you start strumming? Like, so for me, it's easy as a drummer. I don't need anything. I literally just start tapping on my chest sometimes, right? Like it's just, I'm near a counter. I start tapping on the counter. It's what I do. What about with you with a guitar?
I think more nights than not, I'll have a guitar near me while I'm sitting here watching whatever game I'm watching and, noodle around a little bit here or there or whatever. I try not to be too annoying to the people around me, if anyone else is around. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I might play 4 days a week.
Okay.
But never for long. It's like I
Yeah.
just pick it up, do a couple things, and like, okay, whatever. And like, if there's a song I'm trying to work on or something, I am trying to sort of learn more songs.
Okay.
Just to have it in my, just expand my vocabulary a little bit.
When did you start playing? Start learning? Like for real, you know what I mean? Like, I guess you pick up something when you got a little serious about it.
Like, I guess about, 10 years ago, maybe longer.
That really? I'm stunned. I thought you played a long time.
It's longer than 10 years. Closer to 15 years. Like 2009, 2010, maybe. I think my wife bought me a really nice guitar for Christmas.
Wow.
And that sort of, at the time, the only guitar in the house was the first guitar I ever had, which was like just absolutely just not anything to really write home about. It since has been refurbished, and I found out that it's actually pretty valuable, which is kind of cool. But so 2009, 2010, I got that guitar and started playing it, and that I'd say that's when I started like learning how to play. Like I knew how to play a couple things for my whole life, since I was a teenager, but I never really played. So I started playing about 15 years ago.
Check this out. There he is. There's Bulldog. Where is this? Where's this picture from?
It's my friend Beeve from Leroy Towns Band and me. That is at the Borland Festival, which was a couple weekends ago. And Beeve is with Leroy Towns. He and his wife are the two singers, and Beeve plays guitar too. But we were guesting with our friend's Uncle Ben's Remedy at Borderland. So it was really, really cool of them to let me come stomp around on their stage. It was a really cool gig for them to be invited to play at that festival, and to let me come up and ruin it was pretty awesome.
All right, so I went to your I got that, obviously that's your Twitter profile, your ex profile, but here's
by the way, that guy should have said it. That guitar is the guitar my wife bought me 15 years ago.
Oh, it is really? Okay, let me take a look at this again. There you go. You're looking at there. Can we take there you go. Thank you very much, Colin, for picking that up.
Gretsch Electromatic. Yeah.
So I want to ask you about this again. Let me dive into more of this. So she bought this guitar for you when you had no experience playing, or did you start playing and then she bought it?
I said I want a nice guitar.
And you had you been playing when you said that, or you just said
no?
Wow, that is amazing to me. I never knew this story.
I always wanted that guitar, that specific style guitar, and so having it made me start playing.
Okay, I want to know what is the deal with this Twitter header, though. What is this here? What is this? What's going on here? This is the reason why this caught my eye, because this dude on the left is wearing a Dolphins t-shirt.
Yeah, those are the Ramones.
Okay,
playing
I didn't know that.
Their first gig in London.
Wow.
And you can see the guy in the Adidas t-shirt.
Yes,
he's not impressed.
He's not.
He's going to be a hard sell on this, but that's the Ramones in Europe, in London. I think for the very first time in 1977. Wow. And it was a big, all the bands that sprang out of the English punk rock scene were there. And it was like a pretty important gig. Yeah. And I just love, I love Johnny Ramone. That's him in the Dolphins t-shirt. And I just love the picture. I think the kids are awesome.
Yeah, for sure. The kids in the front row, they're very impressed. They're loving it.
Yeah, right. Except that dude in the Adidas shirt. He looks like he wants to fight Johnny Ramone.
Right. Who's in the Ramones? There's Joey Ramone too, right?
Yeah, Joey Ramone, Johnny Ramone, Dee Dee Ramone, and at that time, Tommy. And they all died. They're all dead.
Are you, like, is that one of your kind of go-to listens, just kind of when you're bumping around?
I don't listen to it as much as I probably should. It's a ground floor, vital, important all-time band for me. Right. I think they're one of the most important bands in the history of rock and roll.
For sure.
So, I mean, I adore them. I saw them, 10 times when I was, a teenager when they were still active. And yeah, I love that.
Very awesome. Chris Bulldog Parker. By the way, my wife told me there's a way if people want to like, I'm not asking for necessarily for money here, but she said, you can like donate to the show or pay to the show. If someone wants to send me like a penny or 5 cents, I just want to see how that works. Because she said like you can do it while you're doing it here. I'm like, well, how do you even do that? I see up top here above my face where we got Facebook likes and loves and carrying emojis. It's great. Thank you. We're at 2,400 live viewers right now. Thank you so much, everybody. It's awesome. We're trying to break 2,700 from last week. Every week we're getting a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And the big announcement. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, that'll peak it right through the roof.
We're gonna do that in a second. I want to tell everybody too. Next week, live Sal's house on location, but we're doing it Wednesday night because the Sabres are playing on Thursday. We don't want to take you away from their Sabres game. I'm going to the opener. You going to the opener next Thursday?
I don't have tickets. No.
Okay. Well, we're going to the opener Thursday. So Wednesday, here we go, folks. Think about this. Wednesday of next week, 7 p.m. Fatty Beer downtown. I'm going to be joined by our good friends Andrew Peters and Craig Rivet live on location.
Awesome, dude. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so we're going to have that. So come on down, Bulldog, if you want some fatty beer and take part in that. In the meantime, want to bring in our guy, Dan Dunleavy, while Bulldog's on here right now. So, Colin, you can bring Dan up here into the screen and say hello to our guy, Sabres play-by-play man. First of all, I want to make sure that you're okay because I don't know if you know this, Bulldog. Dan texted me earlier and said, I don't know if I can make it. We have no power where I live.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're still without. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, you're good, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Bulldog, good to see you. Sal as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right back at
Yeah. Well, listen, there's been a lot more severe power outage situations, but we're out here in the south towns, south of Hamburg, and it's been out. Usually power will drop out here. We're not far from, I don't mind saying, the Eden High School area. Usually the power will drop out. It lasts for maybe an hour or so, but it's been out since maybe 5 o'clock or so. And
wow.
I had a transfer switch put in the house this past, I don't know, a few months ago, and I haven't used it yet, guys. So I pulled out the old gas generator, fired it up, and I said to Sal, I'm going to try this thing, and it works. So we got the house up and running, to get some lights on and get the air moving around the house. But internet is not happening. So, hey, kids, you want to stream? Get your wallet out. Yeah.
There you go. And hey, your phone works, and you joined us here. We appreciate it. What jersey are you wearing right now? What's that jersey you're wearing?
This is actually, it's just a Sabres hoodie. It might be from it's from the first Global Series, actually, when I did go to Sweden with the team on that trip. At that time, RJ was still calling games, obviously, with the Sabres. And I had a chance to go over there more or less in a reporter's role, and I did some work for the NHL and the Tampa broadcast, as well as working for the Sabres. So that was a nice trip.
We have, by the way, new people coming in the chat, and we appreciate it. Jason and Suya, Western New York Heroes. That's got to be my man, Chris. Thank you so much for all you're doing as well. We got Dan Dunleavy, Sabres play-by-play man, Chris Bulldog Parker. We're going to let Chris go in a minute and spend some time with Dan, but we were just talking about music and concerts. And Dan,
yeah, don't let him go yet. I heard him say all-time. I heard him say my all-time favorite band. I want to know which one that is.
There you go. So I wanted to get you guys in on this. I want to talk about concerts and bands. So go ahead, Bulldog. Tell Dan what you said, and I'll let Dan react.
Well, he was asking me about the photo that's the header on my Twitter page, and it's the show. It's the Ramones in England.
Nice.
First time over there, and that's the band. Sal asked me, like, do I listen to them a lot? I'm like, not as much as I probably should. I mean, they're a ground floor vital, they're one of the most important in the history of rock, as far as I'm concerned, and so I adore them. So that's talking about as you dialed in here, I think probably. Nice.
Well, and it's timely, right? Because I think you've probably noticed in some of my tweets, and I've just been diving in and can't stop watching and rewatching the documentary about the Tragically Hip. Ooh. And you talk about the Ramones being a band that just bled a way of music into other artists who were trying to discover something. The Tragically Hip talked about how they started off too with a kind of a real punk roots and attitude, and certainly the way Gord moved around on stage, it was just kind of this freedom of expression, and this fearlessness. And I think that's what the Ramones were the same way. They were just fearless. And I think really the best artists are not the ones that kind of just come out and float around and you say, oh, they're nice. That's a nice band. It's the ones that shock you a little bit. And you kind of say to yourself, what's going on with this group? What is, I need to dig in. Maybe I won't like them, but I need to dig in on them. And that's certainly what you did with the Ramones 100%. I get that, been there. And, the Tragically Hip was one. Certainly, I know from a Buffalonian's point of view, but I know from a born and bred Canadian's point of view, I mean, I was teary-eyed watching that entire documentary. I mean, I just kept swallowing and thinking, am I going to get through this documentary? It's crazy.
I watched it all too, and I mean, yes. Friends of mine that had watched it ahead of me even mentioned, like, it's great. Episode 4 is going to kill you. It's
going to get you.
Yeah. That thing starts. I turn it on, and you get the first notes of what song is it for, at the Speedway? Looking for a Place to Happen. No, not that. Whatever. Anyway, I get teary-eyed just hearing the riff. I don't.
Yes. No.
I mean, you let me hear the geese calling at the beginning of
the loon. It's the loon.
Yes,
the loon. So, and interesting, right? It's a guy that was up there recording loons off the lake, probably somewhere up in Algonquin Park. For those that don't know, it's up north of Ottawa, Ontario. And if you ever want to go camping, I get it. New York State has so much I've never even gotten close to exploring, but get up to Algonquin Park and check it out. But yeah, listen, music, not unlike the dynamic athlete that, whether it's the National Football League, NHL, it's the fearlessness of the competitor or the artist that we are all drawn to. And you can love them or you can hate them, but you can't stop watching. You can't stop listening. It doesn't matter. I'm thinking, obviously, many receivers in the NFL have had this kind of persona where they're just strutting onto the field and look, this is my show. And some people are kind of driven or pushed off by that because they don't think it's team driven. Sometimes you can feel that way about a frontman with a band, but I remember the one spot in this documentary where Gord, because he's got kids and his family now, and he's thinking, I don't want them to think I'm some clown on stage, picks up
my favorite part of the whole thing.
Wasn't that the best?
There in the motel room watching that, and say, I'm a clown. So I'm going to put on a guitar and calm down a little bit. And also a part of that too was, weren't they talking about that the crowd was getting a little too sort of
rowdy,
bro heavy, like, it was all dudes and it was not what they wanted. So Gord decided, I'm gonna put on a guitar and maybe some women will come up front and we'll get more of a healthy mix here instead of this sort of baseball hat backward bro dude that seemed to be dominating the front rows of their shows.
Yeah, and it worked, but the irony in that is, to your comment about the Ramones, I mean, that's how it started for them. They wanted to be that kind of, you succeeded, and that's what you got. So anyway, really cool.
Well, I'm a big U2 fan, and there's a song called "The Miracle of Joey Ramone," and it's a song that Bono wrote about seeing them on stage and falling in love with music. Like, that's a song about that. Right. It's super cool. Right. And and they actually opened up one of their tours with "The Miracle of Joey Ramone." By the way, real quickly, before I let Bulldog go, 2 things. Number 1, Bulldog, here it is. And Dan, this is how in 1983, I watched the Sabres game 2 on a weekday and look at that picture there. As the teacher rolled it into the classroom there. And
I got to turn my light down because I can't see it here. So I'm going to get dim on you. Oh, I see it. Nice. Yeah.
And then here you go. So Dan and I are both Iron Maiden fans. There we go. There's Eddie. This is like one of the first actual LPs I ever owned, Dan, right there. That's a 33 LP with Eddie on the cover.
That's awesome. I had a jean jacket with Eddie's T-shirt with Eddie and Run to the Beast tour. I cut the T-shirt up and I put it on the back of the denim jean jacket, and that was my high school uniform. I loved it.
Listen, Bulldog, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to spend some time with Dan here before the game tomorrow to talk. Sure. Go enjoy the rest of the night. We appreciate it, and I'm sure we're going to listen to you tomorrow. But, of course, you're always welcome on Sal's house, buddy, and I'm sure we'll do it again.
No, I was happy to be on your show finally after the 11 billion times you've been on.
No, you got it, buddy. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your night, my man.
Yeah, you too. All right. See you, Dan.
All right, you got it.
See you guys. Yeah, see you, Bulldog.
Yeah, Dan Dunleavy here, Sabres play-by-play man. Sabres begin tomorrow against the who exactly are they playing? The New Jersey. I'm sorry, where I should say are they playing? They're playing the New Jersey Devils. Where exactly are they playing, Dan?
Yeah, they're in Prague. Yeah, they're in Czechia, and I've been to Prague years ago. Thankfully, I know what the guys are going through. Certainly on the New Jersey Devils and the Buffalo Sabres, all the European players. We don't think about this, Sal. I don't know how much of it has touched the National Football League. I know the NFL's become a much more internationally and, kind of woven league with players coming over from different parts of the world. That has really gained a bit of traction. But as you know, in the NHL, it's just been a major part for so long. So we don't often think about the kids that come over here at the age of 19, 20 years old, and into an area where they don't speak the language. And we always have this attitude that, well, you better learn it. And they do. In fairness, they do. But for them to get to open the season at home overseas, you can tell by the smile on their faces. You can tell by the interviews they've given. I've never heard JJ Peterka talk so much in my lifetime. I've never. And we travel with them. And I'm saying this in a very good light, is that I think this is going to bring out a different side of JJ, going to get to play home over in Munich in front of his family and his friends. The rink in Munich was about 10 minutes from his house. And I don't know if he even went home. I do know there was talk that he was not going to go to his actual house, which seems so weird to be there, but he just wanted to be team focused and not treat it like I'm going to go, spend a couple hours at home for a while. So I'm not sure if that happened. It maybe did because we're not there, but I don't, I certainly wouldn't fault him for wanting to go home for 10 minutes and, check that out. But so they're in Czechia for the next two. It'll be interesting. The Devils have some guys too that are really attached to that part of the world as their home. So it's a good matchup in that way.
And then they play another game less than 24 hours after that. You got time, 1 p.m. and then 10 a.m. on Saturday. What's that like for you as the play-by-play guy to kind of have that quick turnaround?
Well, it's to remind myself that I can't just lollygag around the house tomorrow because it's interesting you say that because it actually did just remind me that, the game's at 1. Yeah. So I like to be at the rink on any game day. We're at every road game this year, just so people know. These are the only 2 that we're not with the team. We're at every game on the road. That's happening. So just like we did last year. So whether you're at home or on the road, I like to be at the game at least. I don't know how you approach it, but at least 3 hours before the start of the game. If not, 4 is a nice number, but I'm not missing that 3-hour number. I get up to the booth, I set up, I take my time, I say hello to everybody, the security people that you see every day, everybody who plays a role in the day. It sounds very cliche, but we're all part of the same family of people that are putting on a few hours of entertainment for other people that can't get to the rink or to the football field. So I take that pretty important. And tomorrow, I'll probably leave the house and try to get to the arena by, no later than 10, even though it's a remote game, and sit with Razor and sit with our producer and just kind of be around the group and talk about what we're going to do. We already know we've had meetings and what we're going to do, how we're going to approach this, but my lineups are set. I've been working on them all week, both Jersey and Buffalo. I'm ready to go in that aspect. And I'm very familiar with both teams. There's not that many changes to the lineups for both groups. There's just a few. But that's how I like to do it, at least 3 hours before a game. And so I might have to set an alarm tomorrow.
Hey, I'm glad you brought up Razor and all the people you work with. I want to show you a picture here, and I'd like you to kind of tell everybody what this group means to you. I
got to dim my light here so I can see it here. Buddy. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, the group is a special group, as you know, and it starts with the man in the middle. Yeah. And you could tell that, RJ, he was the leader of that group. And my relationship, obviously, with Rick was a little, everyone's relationship with anyone is different. Mine certainly was playing a role where Rick didn't feel like I was there to push him out of a position, but just be ready when, if there was a night he couldn't call the game, or if, for whatever reason I needed to step in, just make sure I was ready. I've always felt that There's a need to keep up a quality that was started by Ted Darling and then Rick Jeanneret with this job. And, that's my aim in doing it. There's probably nobody more prepared than Brian Duff when it comes to stats and understanding of players and how they fit in. Marty Baron is someone that just sees a game from his eyes that is both colorful and entertaining and educational. I love watching Marty when he works with the telestrator between periods. I never miss that segment, because often he'll point out a portion of the game that from a play-by-play point of view and following the puck and trying to pick up some things off of the play when I can. Marty will still see things that perhaps I didn't pick up on, just a subtlety and a reason why something happened. And then Razor has just become a brother to me. I don't have a brother, and Rob has been a guy that has played that role probably unintentionally in his part, but he's a leader in so many ways of our group. He makes sure that we all take life only as seriously as we should, that we respect one another. He's the glue for the group, to be honest with you. Razor is, with just the way he handles himself. I admire the way he's such a great parent for his kids and how he's dedicated to his family. We're on the road. Rob is always watching his son's hockey team play. He never misses a game. That's pretty special to watch. And on that day, you can't really see it, but
Go ahead,
Rob, so Rob's right hand is behind my back. So everybody's blazer, that was a special gold blazer we had made. And I believe they were auctioned off. They were signed and auctioned off for Sabres Foundation. Everybody's blazer fit them perfectly, except the skinniest guy in the group, which would have been me. And mine was basically like Bulldog's curtains that you saw behind him in the last segment when you had Bulldog on your show. Yeah. This thing was a drape. So there's actually a piece of blue electrical tape on the back of that jacket trying to pinch it in. That wasn't working. So Razor's hand that you don't see there is actually grabbing the back of my jacket.
That's amazing.
He's sucking it in so I don't look like I'm wearing a drape on in that photograph. So that's that group. Yeah, that's that group. And it is, as you know, your producers and in football and hockey, things are happening so fast. In hockey, your replays everything's instant. Danny Bellis does a great job with our replays. Joe Pinner's our producer. Jason Weiss working on the graphics. And then a bunch of people in the truck whose names I haven't brought up yet, but that's our traveling group that I work with on every single game. So everybody's so important and so necessary.
I know you're not able to watch a lot of stuff tonight with the Power. I hope that everything goes well there, but no score between the Brewers and Mets, top of the seventh. I don't know if you're dialed into the baseball stuff that's going on, but obviously the deciding game tonight in that best of three. Yeah. And 10-7 now. The Falcons missed a field goal. The Buccaneers hit a field goal. 10-7. Buccaneers lead the Falcons. Are you a baseball fan?
I am in, how do I say this? The playoffs interest me more than the regular season, and I think it's just because of the delusion of 162 games. There's always that moment where you tell yourself, if I don't see the game today, I can see it tomorrow. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's September and I've missed the entire season. The other thing, being a Toronto guy living here now, I know there's a lot of Blue Jay fans in the area along with Yankee fans. My wife's a huge Yankees fan. And I know way more about the Yankees than I do about the Blue Jays now, because I don't see those games up here, and probably just as well because they're not doing well. But baseball playoffs are great. Love the NFL. I think I talked earlier this year just how much I admire not only how talented Josh Allen is, but just what a good guy he seems to be. I've never met him. You're around him a lot. He just seems like he's a quality individual, a quality human being. He cares about his teammates. He wants to win. And, he might remind me a little bit of, from an outsider's point of view, I don't know if you've seen, but Amazon Prime has a documentary coming out that really focuses on Connor McDavid in last year's playoffs.
Okay.
And we were given a sneak peek view of this at our NHL broadcast meetings in New York City a couple of weeks ago, but now that has been released to the public. And people are seeing just how much fire Connor McDavid had in him when the Oilers were down in that series in the Stanley Cup final to Florida, and they looked like they were down and out, right? They had to come back. They had to win 3 to force a game 7, and they did force the 7th game. But people are actually really literally taken behind the curtain of Connor McDavid losing it on his teammates, but in a very passionate and professional way, which was just telling everyone, look, if you're not going to give it all you have now, we don't have a shot. And now's the moment you go out and you have to empty the tank. And I really feel that it's probably the same kind of leadership that when it's called upon, he might already do it. I don't know, Sal, but it's something that I could see one day or imagine hearing that same kind of speech coming from Josh when, hey, guys, we are this close. And if you are going to park any of your game anywhere today and not bring 100% of what you are every single play, we do not stand a chance. And I admire him for his leadership skills that I've seen. I just think he's uber talented. I'm not worried about the one loss they suffered the other day. Baltimore's such a unique situation. You learn from that. And the good news I felt from that loss, Sal, and I told Brenda, my wife, I said, hey, you lost that game early in the season. If you lost that game on a playoff day, then you're done, right? I mean, lesson learned. And that's what sports is all about. You don't win a championship in the first 4 weeks, but you can win it in the last 4 weeks of your season.
All right, before I let you go, buddy, by the way, well said. And also, yeah, that documentary, I think that's, I saw a little teaser for that, and we were watching Rooting for the Oilers because I've gotten to know Zach Hyman pretty well. He's a big Bills fan, and as you know, he's from Toronto, and so, you know, got to know his family a little bit and went up and was a part of his golf tournament last year. And when you see those guys in that setting and how much that really means to them, and in that locker room after that game, you could hear Commissioner Bettman like handing out the Conn Smythe, and there's a clip of those guys in their locker room listening. That's crazy, right? In that interview, in that documentary. Okay, real quick before I let you go, this is from Lance Lysowski's Twitter, so that's where I got it from. Here's the lines it looks like. I'll let you kind of take a look at that. This is what it looks like it's going to be tomorrow. What do you think about this? Just give me your thoughts on what you think here.
Well, I like where the new players are at. I think they're where they should be in the lineup. And I think when you take a look at the likes of a Lafferty and a Melenstein and an Obey-Kubel, what they're going to do is they're going to change the look of this team. Now, it's still up to Tage to score. It's up to Alex Tuck, and it's up to J.J. Peterka. That's your number one. We need a goal line. They're going to be out there with Rasmus Dahlin and Henry Jokiharju. The defenseman could obviously alternate with the likes of Owen Power and Byram as well when you need some offense. So there's a lot of room to move with that. But you look at the middle six as well, and that's what was going to be necessary for the Sabres to take a step. I honestly like everything about the lineup. If every single one of those players plays to their ability and a little bit over their head, which you need over the course of a season, let's not kid ourselves. You need a couple of guys to jump off the sheet and say, wow, that was a year, because they did that a couple of years ago, and that's when they were 1 point shy. I like the group a lot, and I really like where Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen parked his game as the season kind of progressed and then wound down last year. Goaltending is it's everything. It is absolutely everything. New Jersey found that out last year. If you do not have goaltending, you can be the fastest team on the ice, you're done. It's like not having pitching. It's like not having a quarterback. So end of the day, I love it. I'm really excited for where Zach Benson goes with his game in another year at the ripe old age of now 19 in the NHL. I encourage fans to watch him every shift he's on the ice, especially, mom, dad, brother, sister, you're sitting there with somebody and Zach is on the ice. Just try to follow him. Watch where he puts his stick. Watch where he positions himself. It'd be like, who's the best route runner on the Bills right now? Or who's the best route runner in the NFL? That is Zach Benson. He's never in the wrong place. It's just fun to watch him play. And at 19, it's just crazy, I think, how good this guy is going to be. And he's a good friend of Connor Bedard and all these younger superstars. So, they're kind of interwoven that way. So he's a player for me that I really just can't wait to watch. And then Dylan Cousins is another one that I really am looking forward to seeing how he gets back to a level of confidence in his game that I know is there. I've seen too much of Dylan Cousins play hockey up until the point he got to the Buffalo Sabres in his first, season with the Sabres. I think last year is a year where he's probably learned where not to go, whether it's in his own head or whether it's where he's going on the ice. He'll figure that out. And there's a real enthusiasm around the group. I know every team has it. I get it. It's the beginning of the year. Everybody thinks they're going to have a good year. But I'm really confident with that group you just showed me right there. And on top of that, I will finish on this note. Rob and I being back home here with many of the players who will be playing in Rochester, that was the preseason here in North America. So it was a real gift for Rob and I to call their games and get to see them and watch them and know them a little bit.
That's cool.
As far as, how they play the game. And I think these guys are to the point, Sal, in the NFL, when you need to plug it, like you guys, I guess this week might need to plug in a wide receiver somewhere. You want someone who at least understands, how Josh wants routes run, where they want them to be. It's the same in hockey. You want someone to just step up seamlessly into the team. And it's not about them getting the opportunity. It's about the team continuing on without missing a beat. And I know it's hard to do in certain positions, especially in football, but I think the Sabres are in a really good spot. They got a lot of talent. They should have, given where they finished for the last number of years. So that talent's there. And it's close. So that's a nice little depth, I think, thing to look forward to for this team.
Listen, man, thank you so much. By the way, thank all of you. Set a new record for the watch party tonight. We are close to 3,200 live viewers, Dan. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Hey, that's awesome. And you're asking everyone for money now, I hear, too.
Oh, yeah, I know, exactly. I'm asking everybody for a few bucks. Listen, again, 1 o'clock tomorrow, 10 o'clock on Saturday, WGR Sports Radio 550, MSG. It's going to be awesome. We're all going to be dialed in and ready to rock and roll. And there you go, the Bills. It's a big weekend.
Bills.
Got a big weekend. Bills in Houston as well.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you so much. Get some of that sleep. Get to work early tomorrow. I know you like to do that and be prepared, but
I don't need sleep. I'm ready to go. If we have a game right now, I don't need sleep. Let's go.
Dan, thanks a lot for joining me, man.
All right, guys.
You got it.
All right, Sal.
That is
Thanks
Dan
for having me.
Dunleavy right there. All right. Before we got out here, by the way, it is the start of the second quarter, so we do have to kind of, get going here, I guess you'd say. And let me put me back. There's my face back in the watch party. It's the start of the second quarter. Let me just kind of tell everybody what's going on. 3,200 viewers. Thank you so much. It's amazing what we've done here and what we had tonight. Thank you so much to Chris Bulldog Parker, to Dan Dunleavy, to my producer, Colin Ritchie, who's backstage doing a really great job. My wife, Yana, who helps me set up a lot of this stuff. Thank you to her so much. And of course, to you, everybody's come into the comments and the section and what we're doing here. Couple things before we go. All right. Number one, 10-7 Bucks right now. Nothing, 7th inning. I can't wait to watch the last, two innings and a half here between the Mets and the Brewers coming up. Folks, next week, I got 3,200 of you here right now. Next week, Wednesday night, Fatty Beer downtown. Fatty Beer. I'm going to be there with Andrew Peters and Craig Rivet. They're coming to Fatty Beer. Nate Geary's going to be there too. We're all going to be there. We're doing a live. It'll be a Sal's house. We'll do a watch party. There's going to be baseball on that night, right? But we're just going to talk Sabres. It's the night before the home opener. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. Come to Fatty Beer downtown. We want to pack the place. I told the people at Fatty Beer, I'm going to pack it for you. I'm going to bring everybody there. I bring the show. You bring the juice. You bring the energy. They'll have the beer for you. Andrew Peters, Craig Rivet, Nate Geary, and me live in person, Fatty Beer next Wednesday, not Thursday, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Sabres on Thursday night. Want to thank our sponsors, as always, right here. Sports City Pizza Pub. Speaking of great beer, wings, pizza, everything. They got it all right there for you at 1407 Niagara Street. And, of course, Buffalo Logo. BuffaloLogo.com. All your screen printing, embroidery, and everything else you need. All right. By the way, not only – there's a home run. Here it is. Home run. Brewers just hit one. Wow. All right. Who hit that home run? I got to see here. It wasn't Jackson. Jake Bowers, home run. Brewers take the lead. Still 10-7, Buccaneers over Falcons. That's it for the watch party tonight. Thanks a lot for joining. 3,200 plus viewers tonight. We're going to break it next week. We're going to be live at Fatty Beer, and I got even more coming for you the following week, a live show with Stevie Johnson over at Buffalo Cigar and Transit Row. I'll tell you all about that next week. In the meantime, thanks a lot for coming aboard tonight.